So there we have it, a bumpier world of unstable multipolarity, military conflict, accelerated climate change, tariffs at their highest in 75 years. The US has taken a hit as a destination. A confident global south is becoming an engine, a huge engine of economic growth. There's a huge rise in the middle-class independent travelers from India and China. Well, the economies first, but then that leads to travelers, which we're already seeing, I think. And cross-border services are set to grow twice as fast as goods, with travel and tourism leading the way. So there is a summary, an opportunity, and a challenge. So is Europe, and indeed France, going to step up? Well, it's my great honor now to welcome somebody who has been in the past at the helm of positioning France as a global leader, is still a hugely influential figure in Parliament, and if the whispers are right, maybe aiming to return front and center of the political stage next year. We'll see. So, Member of Parliament, former Prime Minister, and Member of Parliament of the Republic of France, I beg your pardon, welcome, to use your official title, Prime Minister Gabriel Attal. Please take your seat.
Dear Minister, dear Serge Papin, ladies and gentlemen, it's a truly pleasure and an honor to take part to a World for Travel, one of the, if not the most important gathering of tourism leaders in the world. I want to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to Frédéric Van Hout, President of the Aventis Group, and to Christian Delhomme, Secretary General for A World for Travel. Their vision and their passion have turned this event into a vital bridge between ideas and action. And I want to salute my friend, Pascal Fontenelle-Persson, a major force for tourism in France, whose commitment made it possible for me to be with you this morning. France is the world's #1 tourist destination. It is the homeland of tourism, of hospitality, of a certain art of living that we are very proud of. And as a former Prime Minister of France, tourism has always been close to my heart, because it is part of our identity, because it is a pillar of our economy, not only in France, but across all Europe. And because tourism is one of the most revealing indicators of a nation's vitality and confidence. A country that welcomes travelers is a country that's alive, vibrant, and attractive. A country whose people go on vacation is a country that feels confident and optimistic. So it is no coincidence that the theme you choose for this edition is Tourism Faces Uncertainty. Because yes, we are living through a period of uncertainty, unlike anything we've known over the last decades. Geopolitical instability has never had such a direct impact on travelers' behavior. Conflict zones are multiplying, and even Europe is no longer untouched. Rivalries between nations influence where citizens choose to travel. Some leaders even push their citizens to turn their back on certain destinations. The sharp drop in international visitors to the United States since Donald Trump's re-election is one clear example of that. The global economic slowdown has also hit families hard, and when budget gets tight, tourism spending is often the first to go. At the same time, people's expectations are changing, especially in light of the major challenges we all face, and climate change is at the top of that list. Let me give you one example: air travel. I was born in 1989. My generation grew up seeing flying as an extraordinary opportunity, a chance to discover Europe, to open ourselves to the world. But the younger generations today, as every study shows, often hesitate to fly because they are aware of its environmental impact. And yet, I want to share my conviction. This period of uncertainty must not and will not be a time of defeat. We must not be a moment of regression where tourism becomes a privilege for the few. On the contrary, I believe we are entering a period of reinvention. Tourism has always shown resilience. It has always been clear about creativity, about courage, about innovation. And the time we are living, I believe, will be no exception. To move forward, we'll have to face several key challenges. The first one, I'm convinced, is meaning. Because meaning is one of the deepest aspirations of today's youth. Traveling is not neutral. It carries responsibility to the people we meet, to the places we visit, and to the planet we share. Travelers today, and even more tomorrow, are no longer looking only for a trip. They are looking for an experience. They no longer want to just visit a country. They want to understand it. They no longer want to be locked inside hotels or tourist neighborhoods that they feel detached from reality. They want to share something authentic, to be a part of everyday life with the people who live there. But this quest for meaning also means answering more diverse expectations. There is no longer one single model of tourism. From the most luxurious hotels to the most modest guest houses, travelers want personalization. They want something that reflects who they are and what they value. The desire for tailored experiences is one of the deepest shifts in our societies. Tourism must adapt to it and must embrace it. The second great challenge, which is inseparable from meaning, is sustainability. Tourism in the 21st century will be sustainable or it won't exist. Because the ecological transition, the green transition, must drive every major transformation in our economies, and tourism is no exception. Sustainability is not just about a consumer demand. It's also about long-term competitiveness and about your capacity to thrive in the future. Many of you have already begun this journey. You know that the goal must be carbon neutrality. You know that some activities and consumption models must evolve. And I believe the next frontier goes beyond simply polluting less. It's about regenerating more. It's about making tourism a force for renewal, a force for repair, a force for sustainability. The first challenge we face is innovation and technology. A profound transformation is already on the way. AI is reshaping the way people dream about, plan, and experience their trips. For you, it's a new way of working, a chance to optimize flows, to reduce waste, to personalize offers, and to anticipate needs. AI will soon be everywhere, from the screen where we book our flights to the smart systems that run our hotel rooms. Tourism has become a hub for innovation. New services, new tools, new professions emerge. But here too we'll have to find, I think, the right balance. Because there's a tension between technology and hospitality. Hospitality will always be an art, the art of care, of attention, of connection. No machine can replace that. Technology should enhance humanity and never erase it. The fourth challenge is skills. Once again, your professions are evolving. Certain needs, particularly those linked to data or booking management, are fading away as automation expands. Over persists, especially in restaurants, in cleaning, in maintenance. These are demanding jobs with difficult hours, requiring effort, resilience, and sacrifice. Fewer young people today are drawn to these jobs. So there's a real revolution to lead, a transformation in how we value this profession, how we value these jobs. Your sectors need to rethink how to remain attractive, how to offer better pay, better working conditions, and how to align with the expectations of a generation that seeks purpose and flexibility. Because these are noble professions, professions that make people feel welcome, that create beauty and happiness. They deserve recognition, training, and investments. And then there's the last great challenge, transportation. I mentioned air travel earlier because so often some political leaders promote a vision of the future where we should all stay at home. A future where we stop moving, stop exploring, stop discovering. I don't believe in that future. I don't think it's desirable, and I don't think it's what people desire. I believe we must be the builders of solutions, not prophets of resignation. That's why, instead of giving up on air travel, I call for the creation of a green airplane, a European green airplane, a low-carbon aircraft that allows everyone to keep traveling freely without harming the planet. And I'm convinced that my country, France, must make this a national priority and invest massively in research and development to make it happen. But it's not only about planes. We need in France and across Europe a bold and coherent strategy to decarbonize all forms of transport, to strengthen rail networks, to make clean cars affordable to everyone, to build more bike paths and sustainable mobility options. We must act, and act boldly on all fronts. Ladies and gentlemen, these 5 challenges concern the whole world. But I'm convinced that France and Europe have everything they need, not only to face them, but to turn them into strength. France and Europe can lead. They can set the pace for global tourism in this new century. Why? Because we can offer an extraordinary diversity of landscapes and experiences that no other parts of the world can match. Because we have centuries of expertise and tradition recognized and admired everywhere. Because we have strong, creative, innovative players, you, who give life to this industry every day. And because, thanks to the European Union, we have the ability to act together and to strike hard. To succeed, we must trust. You must be given the freedom to reinvent, to rebuild, to experiment. You don't need more rules. You need a direction, a framework, and the space to innovate. You need governments that give you the tools to adapt, not the way of over-regulation. To succeed, you also need support. When I was Prime Minister, I launched a major national tourism plan in France, with dedicated funds for sustainable tourism and for e-tourism. That's the kind of backing your industry needs today. Strong support from governments and Europe. And in times like these, when every euro spent must be meaningful, let's be clear. Every euro spent on tourism is useful. It's an investment that creates jobs, boosts economies, and strengthens the image of our nation around the world. Finally, if we want to succeed, we need to coordinate. We need to bring our strengths together and build a true Europe of tourism. Earlier today, you heard a presentation about the key question, will Europe step up? I share that question. In fact, I believe it is one of the most important, if not the most important question of the coming years. We are living in a world where rivalries between nations are returning at full speed. A world whose only language is power. And those who don't speak about power are bound to disappear. We are living in an age of growing confrontation, where every field has become a stage of competition between nations. In this world, every European country has its strengths, and France in particular. I'm thinking of our innovation, our defense industry, our aerospace sectors, and of course, I'm thinking about our gastronomy, our history, our sense of service and hospitality. And if there's one thing Europe's nations all share, it's tourism potential, the ability to attract, to welcome, to bring the entire world to our doors. 3 of the most visited countries on Earth are members of the European Union: France, Spain, and Italy. Only together, they welcome nearly 250 million tourists every year. That's 3.5 more than the United States, 4.5 more than China. The European Union is not a tourism giant, it is the tourism giant. Our lead is not small. As the American president would say, it's huge. We must turn that lead into a weapon, a positive one, serving our economies, our nations, our people.